It's Monday. You know what that means. Time for another episode of the Flex Zone Podcast. Yes, your weekend is over, but we're starting your week off on the right foot. Episode 454, giving you more. Another illustrious guest walks through the Flex Zone forbidden door. And let's just say, the levels on the mic don't go high enough, because he's bringing the energy. He's bringing the vibes. And we can't wait to talk to him. Ravens, week 2 of the preseason in the books. Commanders, week 2 of the preseason in the books. We are inching closer to opening weekend of the NFL football season. Can you believe it? The WNBA is back. We'll talk about it. And those division previews continue. We take a look at the South, AFC and NFC. Who wins it? We'll talk about it. And we get goofy with Cravante. It's the Flex Zone Podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe. Sack that subscribe button. Like about that like button. And go ahead and bulldoze that bell. Vote on the poll. Let us know who wins the AFC and NFC South. And make sure you let us know how you feel in the comment section. Episode 454 coming to you right now on the Flex Zone. More newsworthy and exciting than the Democratic National Convention out there in Chi-Town. It's the Flex Zone Podcast. Only place, fellas, give me sports how you want it.
When you need it.
Episode 454, giving you more. Another episode. Throw your ones up. Acknowledge the head of the sports podcast table, the Flex Zone Podcast. Because remember, it's not just our house. It's whose house? The Flex Zone's house. And we are back again with another episode. The crew's all here. We got an illustrious guest. I can't wait to get to him. We're going to get to him in a second. But Twitter, Instagram, the Flex Zone 1. Flex Zone Podcast on TikTok. Email us to flexzone1@gmail.com. You guys know all the housekeeping things. Big week of content coming up. We'll talk about that a little bit later, as it's another big week of wrestling and content on the channel. We'll tell you about it as we get the week laid out for you. But you guys know the drill. We got a big show. Preseason moves along. Ravens, Commanders. We got a QB1 down in DC. I'm sure Cravante's happy about. We got the WNBA back. We got Goofies of the Week with Cravante. And we're continuing our division previews. Last week we looked at the AFC West and the NFC West. Now we go to the South, AFC and NFC South. Who wins those two divisions? We'll get to that a little bit later. But batting leadoff, it is our social media producer. It is the man who makes the streams pristine. It is the one, the only, Big Rob.
Finish him, Daddy.
That's one big son of a bitch.
Hey man, we're finally gonna get to the bottom of where Finish Him Daddy comes from. I took it from somebody. I'm gonna just flat out tell you I took it from Nitro, and he'll be on in a little bit. But I got the inspiration from him, so I'm gonna give him all the praise. But it was a great weekend. Got to see the Ravens preseason. Yeah, we got some things to talk about. But other than that, man, can't wait to get the show started. Nitro's the guest tonight. I'm looking forward to it as always.
Next, it is the voice of reason. It is the captain of the goofy ship. It is the Commandalorian. And it's celebration time because his quarterback that was pick number 2 is now number 1, baby.
Those haters can't stand us. Left hand up. Commanders. We fight for RTC. Who are we? The Commanders.
Stop. Stupid. Just stupid. Jam. Oh, jam.
Listen, I didn't like how Nitro was going off in backstage. I don't approve. I don't approve at all. Look. Man, I ain't got nothing. Y'all already know what it is. It's Monday evening. We in the Man Cave, the Flex Zone Podcast, man. We got an illustrious guest as my host has said, man, I ain't gonna take up too much more time. Come on, Dre, let's get it going.
Last but not least, the Flex Zone Tribal Chief, the OTC, Mr. 25-8, the super producer, Mr. Morgan State University, and the Dean of Ball So Hard University, Drizzy Dre. It's good to have you back, my brother, and we acknowledge you.
Acknowledge me.
Hey, man, it's always good, man, and I can't wait for our guest today. We're going to have a really good conversation.
How you feeling, Dre? I know you were battling COVID last week. Did you beat it?
Oh, I'm feeling much better, man. Thank you for asking, man.
Yes.
And you see representing Chicago, man. So,
yes, I see you got the CM Punk shirt on, and they will be getting the strap, as there will be a strap match in Berlin next Saturday. So there you go, Cavante. But enough about us. It's episode 454, and we keep showing that we are on another level. Walking through the Flex Zone Forbidden Door for the first time is an illustrious guest, is a man that if you look up the word energy in a dictionary, his face will be next to that definition. He goes past level 10. He takes it up to 20. He is the host of the Wonderkin Show. He is from Florida with Love. He is a fellow Yankees fan like you, Dre. We found out actually yesterday as well. He is the one, the only, joining us on the Flex Zone podcast, bringing the energy, talking that talk, doing what he does. The one, the only, Nitro from the Wonderkin Show. Nitro, what's up, brother? Thank you for being here. He's here.
I'm good, y'all. Very, very good. Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you.
Why you do the Joe Henry?
Yeah, yo, y'all remember that show, Degrassi, and they had that little skinny kid, and that's how he would at the beginning of the Yo, I be random like that, bro. I can't help. I be random like that. I can't help it.
Nitro, how you feeling, brother? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Over here, just enjoying myself on the flex. You feel me? Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the love. Enjoying being here. Ready to do a great show. You feel me?
Do we need to slap anybody? Do we need to slap anybody? Do we need to?
Listen, we might need to slap some people. EDC might need to catch one of these 5-finger wake up calls because this, bro, our wide receiver depth is looking very skittish. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. So yeah, we gonna get to it.
Finish him, Daddy.
The people want to know for the finish him, Daddy, because Raj, yes, we did. He did bring it to the show. Where did it come from? Because you are the SBK, the Sound Beat King, by the way. How did that come about, by the way?
Bro, I'm gonna be real with you. It was mad random. I was going through
And look who's in the building, by the way. Big shout out to Engraven.
Yeah, shout out, man.
Good. It was good. That's that guy right there, man.
Big shout out Engraven.
I was going through a lot of sounds. Like I think I've went through probably 5,000 different sounds, and I was moving because I'm kind of a big dude, and my hand like ripped this whole thing down because I had to move real quick to catch something, and then it hit that random sound, and when it hit it, everything dropped and said, "Finish him, Daddy." I was like, "Oh, that's kind of hard." Pause. So I was like, I bet I'm about to run that. So I just kept it. Like I'm dead serious with you. It just by accident going through 5,000 different sounds for different occasions, and that one just found me.
Let the people know how to keep up with you, Nitro. What you do on your channel, how they can keep up with you, and just what you do on your channel, and why you follow these Baltimore Ravens way down there in Florida, the land of crazy, as we know.
Hey. Listen, man, Florida do be wild. Hurricanes and people be down to be wilding. But no, definitely you can catch me on YouTube, the Wonderkin Show. You can catch me on Twitter, Nitro_Quantum. You feel me? And yeah, just talking great, just football, sports. I touch on a lot of different sports, but mostly you're gonna get is gonna be Ravens content. And you know what I'm saying? I just try to give my viewpoint as best and as knowledgeable as possible. Only dealing truth and facts. You feel me? Even though I put a little twist onto it. You know what I'm saying? Hence the grin.
Well, we appreciate you, brother. I know the fellas want to ask you some questions. Go ahead, fellas. Go ahead.
Go ahead and start us off, Dre.
All right. Before we started the podcast, we had talked about Harbaugh and Tomlin. Who do you think is more on the hot seat right now?
Harbaugh. It should go without, like, that shouldn't even be an argument, right? One coach has a 2-time MVP at quarterback, only 27, leading his squad. Like, what does Tomlin have? The towels, a great defensive player. Like what are we what are we talking about? Even going up against the Ravens, that seems to be our kryptonite. They kick our tail or do super well against us with nothing. Last year, I believe their quarterbacks had how much touchdown passes? 16 or something like that.
Yeah.
For the, like, come on now. He's doing it with the least. Harbaugh has great defenses, greatest kicker of all time, top 2 quarterback in the league. You know what I'm saying? He just has more. And to tell you the truth, I can make the argument that if we had different coaching during a lot of our playoff runs, we would already have at least one of those elusive Super Bowls. So, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like he's on the hot seat more because he has more to deal with. Tomlin, I don't think he's going anywhere. How many Steeler coaches has it been? Like 3?
Yeah, 3 in the history.
Like 90 years? Like, what is that? That man gonna retire there, family and everything. He good.
All right, Nitro. I've been a huge fan of yours for a hot minute, man. I mean, I found you on Engraven's channel, spitting that hot fire about the Ravens right around the time that Lamar's contract was, up for grabs, and we didn't know if he was going to come back or what was going to happen. Bro, you kept me like, we're gonna get this brother back. We're gonna find a way to get this brother back. We have to keep this brother. We have to get this brother back.
Yeah,
bro. Like, during that period of time, after he got the nice contract that he got, from your point of view, from your vantage, because we heard from Engraven's vantage, how did y'all get that interviewing Lamar Jackson?
Bro, when I'm telling you about God be good sometimes, man. So that whole thing was just circumstance, man. Like, when I tell you, like, things just fall into place and you be like, how did everything fall into place? And then you go to church on Sunday, you be like, God, you looked out for me again. Like, literally, that is what happened. Nothing more, nothing less. I was on Twitter and somebody had posted something about his restaurant. And I told him, I said, hey, I would love to shoot an episode there. That'd be, crazy. And Lamar, because he follows me, said, you can shoot there. Just, just pick up a plate. You good. So, me stretching, the limit as much as I can. I'm like, say less. I'll be there. If you're not for you can be there. So I just took the opportunity. I wanted to work with someone great doing it. And I just felt like Ing's already down there, amazing guy. And we ended up becoming real cool. So I was like, who better to do it with? So I just asked him if, hey, would you like to be a part of this? And Ing was just like, yeah, of course, I'll be there for you. So then me and Ing end up meeting there. The funny thing is, Lamar forgot that I was coming. We were coming that day. And he ends up hitting me up. And I was like, yeah, we here. He's like, oh, my bad, bro. I totally forgot. So it was just a day of mishaps, bro. Just one thing after the other. The equipment was giving problems. Lamar's car broke down on the highway. Like, it was a whole bunch of stuff. But like I said, it just worked out. And I wouldn't have had it any other way. Having Ing there, being able to interview Lamar Jackson, it's one of the best memories I have. And man, when you get to work with great people, it just makes the memory that much sweeter. So yeah, man, that's it literally just circumstances of just hard work and networking, and then God just kind of just putting everything in place. Real talk.
Do you still keep in contact with Lamar?
Yes, sir.
Throughout the time?
Yes, sir. Yeah. That's crazy because I didn't know he watched the Wonderkin show. So there was even when we were there, he was like, yo, he was telling me some of his favorite episodes. So I was like, yo, what? So now it's, so it was kind of crazy, but definitely humbling. right? Because when you're doing anything, you don't expect somebody, even though we try to work and, gauge towards something great, you don't expect somebody that's high up actually watching your content. That's like, you know what I'm saying? That's like you finding out Tom Brady stayed watching the flex. You're gonna be like, what? You know what I'm saying? Tom, So that it was just humbling. And like I said, he hit me up first, and I was like, man, and of course, I'm not asked for anything. I'm just saying, hey, what's good, something like that. And it just turned into what it was, and I felt blessed, man. Definitely blessed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Bro, I've been watching a lot of your videos lately, and the one person that's been going crazy in the media has been the Pinocchio. You already know who that is. Mr. Pinocchio knows knowledge. If you know good, that brother over there at Fox.
Yeah.
What is? You know what? I'm gonna tell you this, man. I think he follows you, bro. I think he does this to troll exactly you, because he knows that he's going to get a rise out of you, and a lot of people that think as similar as us Ravens fans do.
Yeah.
But what do you think his problem is with Lamar? Like, why would you put Lamar? What was it, number 20, I believe, or 21?
Below 20.
Below 20 on
Below 20.
The top 100. Like, what is going on with that guy, man?
It's clicks. Listen, you know what's funny? If Ing is still watching, he can attest to this. I remember one time I asked Lamar, and he said, "Look, it's all entertainment, bro. He's like, you got to understand, like, everyone's trying to make $1, and they know that if exactly Lamar gets engagement, like, and if you go against him, he's like hot oil. If you need views, you need extra what's it called, interaction with the fans and everything, you bring up something with Lamar. You could be talking about a mouse, you bring up Lamar. You could be talking about money, you bring up Lamar. Talk about Patrick Mahomes, you bring up Lamar. You talk about anything and Lamar comes up, it trends. So that's what he's doing. And now, if you really want to like peel back that onion, Skip Bayless is, of course, left Fox Sports. So first things first has moved into that spot. So now more than ever, his show is longer and is being watched more because in a prime spot. So he has to make sure that eyeballs are on his show. It's the same reason why Speak does what it does. First take it times when it's slow, they'll just come up with ridiculous Lamar takes. That's what he's doing. He wants engagement. And I think Lamar knows that. I mean, it's kind of weird, right? Because you have people like literally denigrating all of your accomplishments for like view farming. But I guess he takes it, you know what I'm saying, it's just a business. So that's kind of the way I take it. But, I'm not going to be as nice as Lamar. So I got to give him some flame on it. You know what I'm saying? But that's where it's at. It's just a money thing.
Do you think that this is the year for Lamar and Harbaugh to finally get over that hump and obtain a Super Bowl?
If the O-line could block.
Over Patrick Mahomes, I should say, too.
If the O-line could block. If the receivers could catch. Then yes. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, Derrick Henry is a workhorse. I think that he'll take a lot of the eyes off Lamar because once again, he's a multiplier. There's very few players in the league that are multipliers, and Lamar and Derrick are both multipliers. What I mean by that is they make everybody's job easier based on the defensive coverage that you have to use to contain them. When it comes to Derrick Henry, you better have everybody up there plus they mama ready to jump the gap. Because if he gets ahead of steam, he's falling for 6-7 yards. You understand where I'm coming from? And with that, with Lamar being back there, you understand where I'm coming from? If he gives it to Henry and he pulls that ball back out of his gut, Lamar has the whole side of the other field that's just open. It'll probably be him versus a linebacker. That's cookies. Like, I'll take that all day. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, then you have to contend with what? Likely. You got to contend with Mark, who you already know, the middle of the field. That's where the tight ends make their money. So that's what I'm worried about. So as long as we have Derrick playing like Derek, Lamar playing like Lamar, we'll have a chance, more chance than any other year. I think like the only two things that I look at, like habitually just stare at, is the O-line, because if they can't protect Lamar, then we're in for a long season. And of course, I say 1A is the wide receivers and 1B is the coaching. But if we can clean up those little things, then we're good. Like if Harbaugh doesn't Harbaugh it up, then we'll be fine.
Not Harbaugh it up.
Speaking of
Let me follow up
ahead.
then.
Go ahead.
You talked about Derrick Henry. Do you think that we should have? Are you happy with the Derrick Henry signing, or do you think we should have got Saquon for our?
I'm good with Derrick Henry. Saquon stay hurt. We're already an injury-riddled team. Why do I need a? We just got rid of a running back that stayed injured. Why would I want another running back that
Two of them.
injured?
Two of them
Two
on the
of
same team.
Bro,
Again.
matter of fact, let's even go a step further. Keaton Mitchell's still here. Have you seen him lately? No,
No.
because he's injured too. So you're gonna try to tell me to bring in another guy that, by the way that we practice, the way that we do our stuff, people just fall off like leaves? No. Give me Mr. Monster himself. Bullets bounce off that man. I'm good. Like straight up. Like the way he trains. How many times have he been hurt in the season? Think about it.
Rare.
And
even the year he was hurt, he still led the league in rushing.
My bad, you're making my point for me. So it's like one of those things where you're looking at it and you're saying Lamar and him backfield, he still has tread on his tire. He still runs. He can still lift like a horse. It's like come on, it makes practical sense. Also, when we get up on teams, we can run out the clock. Like the Ravens want to get up on you and then run the ball. That's their formula. It's been their formula. But we haven't been able to do it because partially running the ball has been Lamar. So it's like, okay, Lamar, throw it so we get there. All right, Lamar, now we're going to run you, you know what I'm saying, quarterback, you know what I'm saying, quarterback draw up the middle. It's like, does that make sense? Nah, you're putting your quarterback in needless harm. So now it's like, we have Derek that could just literally just keep plowing along. So I'm loving it.
Do you feel like Derek is the missing piece, or do you feel like we should have got another wide receiver to be the missing piece, like how we had Odell last year?
Odell to me was never a missing piece. He was a broken piece. Because let's just be real, Odell was never fully Odell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was rehabbing the whole beginning of camp and everything else. He still wasn't Odell. And even when we finally started to see flashes, that's all we got. Because by the time he would flash, something in his body reminded him he was in his 30s and he would have to go to the sideline. So, yeah, like the last nice signing we did at wide receiver was Steve Smith Sr. That was the last nice one that I seen. Free agent. I think Zay could be a monster. I truly do. Once again, how are they going to use him? And can Bateman stay healthy?
How do you feel about Toddery Mumpkin, aka Todd Munkin? How do you feel about him going into year 2 with Lamar? Do you think they'll take another jump, or do you think they might just?
Oh yeah, he has to. He doesn't have a choice. Like, what is he going to do? Take a back seat? Like. This whole thing is him growing with Lamar. Lamar has to be challenged, right? He's the most dynamic player on the field, bar none. So he has to be creative. At the beginning of last year, I don't know if you guys remember, he was calling very stagnant plays.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the offense was very slow, methodical. It was like, bleh. Like none of us were watching. We're like, yo, what are we watching, bro? It kind of feels like 2010 Ravens. Like, bro, I'm kind of feeling sleepy. So once he started to pick up the pace and starting to realize like he can't call the game, he has to call the game like you have Lamar Jackson at a quarterback, then you started to see the big plays. Then you started to see the movement. Then you started to see Keaton Mitchell starting to break through and stuff like that. The Ravens are in their way more than anybody else. I want to make that context given, even though I'm hard on the O-line, hard on the wide receivers. The Ravens have enough to win the Super Bowl. Make no mistake about it. They have enough. They do. It's just that, can they get out of their own way? Can the coaches let the players be great? Are they going to hold back like they did last year with Keaton Mitchell? Remember those games where Keaton touched the ball 2 times in an entire game? We were like, why? Why Harbaugh? And Harbaugh said, oh, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. After a loss. After an L. A hot one at that. So if they could just get out of their own way, we'll be fine. We could do great things. But like I said, I worry about the O-line simply because of injuries and wide receivers stalling drives. Because if they start dropping balls, as we've heard that's been happening in preseason, then we're going to have a long season. We're in for a very long season.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, we've heard about Aguilar dropping balls in practice, and not only a couple, but a lot of them.
A lot.
Who do you think should be wide receiver 3?
Aguilar. No. Listen, no. I'm not even trying to make y'all laugh. Who else is there? Please.
No,
I mean, you have Anthony Miller, you have Russell Gage, Tez Walker.
Tez is out.
Google it.
I heard that in the background too. Nice. Who? Listen, Tez is out. He's on injured reserve. Y'all know
Might
that,
have to
right?
call you up. Yeah, he's hurt. He's a hurt guy too. He's
out. You want Anthony Miller, Russell Gage? So, like I said, who?
Isaiah Likely.
Listen. Isaiah, let me tell you something right now, and I want to make sure this is clear.
Yes, sir.
This is what I say. Coaching once again. There's no creativity. There's so many people that have been banging them for the emergence and the usage of an Isaiah Likely. I know you guys remember the Saints when they had Jimmy Graham.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're moving him out, you know what I'm saying, from mismatch out to the outside, let him go do his work. You remember that, right? And you're looking at the Ravens like, do the same thing. And they're like, no. Bro, no, man. Bro, listen, man. This is the problem I have with the Ravens. Because a lot of times it's like common sense stuff and they won't do it. They refuse. And then they'll get mad at us and be like, oh, y'all don't understand football. And then we be right at the end and they don't act, and they still act like they right. Like Isaiah Likely.
We're at the end of the bar. We're at the end of the bar. That's what it was.
At the end of the bar. So, yeah. So, like I said before, Isaiah Likely, he could, man, if we could just use him how he's supposed to be used, he's like 6'5", 6'4". You don't use him in the end zone?
Crazy.
You don't try to mismatch against a linebacker? Huh? I have a question. Did y'all watch any of the preseason games?
I was at the last one.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes.
Oh, no. Let me clarify. Any preseason games that wasn't the Ravens?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So I'm guessing you watched the Chiefs last one, right?
I did. Patrick Johnson. Yes.
Oh, yeah, Patrick Johnson. You saw when he sat down? You saw when he sat and he was the offense was still moving, still making big plays. Guys were still somehow wide open. Coaches were scheming guys to be wide open.
Yes.
Have you ever asked yourself why the Ravens can't do that?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Like seriously, have you ever sat back and said, God, why are we stuck on a team that can't scheme? How? Nobody's open. If they don't beat press, they can't get open. Like, you don't scheme nobody aerially open. So it's like you start looking at it and being like, am I looking at the game wrong? But then you look at these other teams and they're doing it, habitually doing it, consistently doing it. So then you know something's wrong. That's what I mean with the coaching, the lack of creativity. And listen, if we're going to have big plays, right? Especially with a player like a Lamar, he flips the number game. Anybody that watches football knows what offense versus defense is. The defense has +1. Am I right or wrong, sir?
Correct.
Sirs, right? +1. Not when you got Lamar. It's 11-on-11 football. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
So that takes away the defense's ability to have that extra guy. If you make one mistake, You should be hitting your head on the goalpost. Tell me why it doesn't happen more on the Ravens. Tell me.
Because we don't have an offensive-minded head coach.
Oh, my
Because
brother.
he doesn't teach offense either. He's special teams.
Bro, and that's my and that's not just me that said this. It's been pointed out by media pundits, other former players. Like, we have it we were talking about this before the show even started. It's almost like we're so stuck on how we've done things in the past that we're slow to adjust to the things of the future. That's a bar. You feel what I mean? So it's just one of those things where if we can get out of our own way, we can be special, guys. And that's a big if, because Harbaugh's a prideful dude. He's one of those type of guys where he would rather lose his way than win another way with someone else being right. That's his mentality. So, you know, it is what it is.
So since you mentioned Harbaugh, would you rather take John or Jim?
Ooh.
Jim. Give me Jim. Jimmy. Hey, yo. So listen, I would take his brother any day of the week. I would take Jim any day. You see how he's close to all of his quarterbacks too?
Mm-hmm.
Because he used to play quarterback.
Even Kaepernick, he's still cool with him too. Yeah.
See? Imagine what he would look like with Lamar. We have a nuclear weapon, and we're still trying to use it like it's a slingshot. You know how hard it is to watch that? Like, we have a player that you, by all intents and purposes, you should not be able to even slow him down based on the defensive coverages that teams are able to play against him successfully. And they still somehow find ways to beat us at times. Think about it. If I told you, and I'll give you the perfect example of this. You remember when Tyreek was on Kansas City, right?
Yes.
And they would say, okay, all we literally can do is play too high. If we don't have a pass rush and y'all not getting to it, we are not going to win this game. Matter of fact, we don't even stand a chance in this game. We have to play too high because of who? Not because of Patrick, not because of Kelsey, because of Tyreek Hill. We have that at quarterback. And you're telling me we're not making the best of it? The most of it?
Nope.
Come on now, man. I know I'm not speaking crazy. Like, it's frustrating. It really is. But listen, I do think that Harbaugh's on the hot seat. I think those buns are getting toasty. Pause. So I'm dead serious with you, because they're gonna start. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna start saying, like, "What else do you need, bro?
I'm not even
what else do you need?"
I want him fired. Honestly,
Bunk has been calling for him to be fired for years.
If he wins, he will never be fired. I just want to let you know this now.
I know.
If you want the Ravens to win this year, if they win this year, Harbaugh will retire a Raven. I just want to let you understand it. That's the context behind everything that we say.
Yeah.
So,
and the crazy part about all of that is like if we do let him go, the next team will pick him up in less than 24 hours probably. He'll have a job right then and there.
Harbaugh's
he's a Hall of Fame coach.
Yes, he's not a bad context. He's not a terrible coach, but we need a coach that can raise our ceiling, not our floor. That's what Harbaugh does. Harbaugh comes in almost with a college mindset, and he raises the floor of your team. That's what I believe. Because guys want to play for him. They're like, oh, he's really a player's coach. He understands and stuff like that. So guys are willing to play and put out for him. So he raises the floor of the team. Problem is, he lacks the creativity to raise the ceiling. So even though your floor is high, your ceiling stays the same. You're kind of getting crunched under there. You know what I'm saying? When you walk around the house like this, you need a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to grow. So that's his deficiency. And every coach has his deficiency, but that's his. And we already seen it happen in Philly. So for all the people that, Harbaugh won one here And if he leaves, we'll never win another one. And someone will pick him up in 24 hours. What happened in Philly? Didn't Philly get rid of Andy Reid?
Oh, yes, they did.
Oh, what happened when they got rid of Andy Reid?
They went to the Super Bowl.
Twice. They went to the Super Bowl twice. They both doing fine. Andy Reid went over there and tweet. He flourished. He was flapping them wings, boy. He got Patrick Mahomes. He's like, bro, I got 3 of them things, right? Philly finally got theirs. So it could be a win-win. You know what I'm saying? But once again, if we win this year, we're stuck with him, bro. He ain't going nowhere. So it is kind of what it is. I'd rather us win this year and we'll be stuck with him than us to lose. Oh my God, to lose heartbreakingly again.
Another terrible summer of Lamar getting ridiculed for goofiness.
Yeah, so I'd rather us just win and we'll keep him.
Well, Nitro, I want to ask you about the defense because Zach Orr is the new DC. And, you know, if you want to theory craft and throw your reel out there, he could be possibly Harbaugh's replacement one day. He's a young guy, played for the Ravens, players coach. A lot of guys seem to like him. What do you think about this defense? A lot of pieces on defense, but I think the biggest question is the pass rush. What do you think happens with this defense? Because I think they may have to carry the offense for the first couple of weeks.
I'm going to make a proclamation on the flex. Because, you know, you can't come on the zone and not flex. You feel me? I'm going to make a proclamation. The defense will be better this year than it was last year.
Wow.
For 2 reasons. And here it goes. And I mean, not just, I'm talking, they will beat last year on turnovers. The only thing I won't see them having more in is sacks. But they'll have more interceptions, turnovers, forced fumbles, all those things. And I believe they'll have the same, if not less, of holding of the opponent's offense to points. And the reason why is because Marcus Williams is going to be healthy. Fully healthy. And he's going to be able to play alongside during the preseason, during OTAs and all this stuff with a Kyle Hamilton. If you looked at last year, that's when Geno started to flourish, right? Because Williams was out. People forget Williams is stupid nice. Like Geno was a poor man's Marcus Williams. People forget that. Geno couldn't tackle. You know what I'm saying? It was just that he was playing next to Kyle. They understood their assignments, and he made sure that he made the most of his opportunities. And Marcus only had 1 arm. Now imagine a Marcus Williams with 2 arms. How many balls last year, pause, did he have thrown close to his face, pause, you know what I'm saying, that he dropped? I'm like, I'm just being real.
Finish him, Daddy.
Like, you know what I'm saying? How many times did the ball come like right here and he dropped it? Because he only had 1 arm. His other arm couldn't go past like right here. I can count at least 5 times. At least 5. That's 5 interceptions right there. Another reason too is I think, even though it pains me to say this, I have a feeling Oweh's going to have his breakout year this year. It's just like how last year you had Matabike have his. I think this is going to be the Oweh year. I think it's going to be the year Oweh gets about 12 sacks, 12 to about 15 sacks, give or take. And
if he gets 12 sacks, I'll fly to Florida and buy you whatever you want. If he gets 12 sacks.
I'm saying this on the flex. I'm not going to come on here and play games. This is business right here. You feel me? I'm giving this work. I'm telling y'all, the defense is going to be better than it was last year. And Oweh, book it, 12 to 15 sacks. 12 to 15 sacks for the upcoming season, barring injury.
Okay. Oh, okay.
We're going to clip this, by the way, so we'll make sure we put this.
Oh, yes, we will.
So when we write, we did this as a team. So when they write, they who did that? The flex did that. That's why we got to say that. You feel me? So when they be like, yo, who came up with that? How did they know? The flex knew. Yeah, just like that.
Devontae, you want to get on?
Man, listen, man. All right, in free agency, anybody you look, well, I know the guys on the panel make jokes that, you know, they got Burger King coupons in the Ravens on the Ravens salary cap. Oh, is there somebody you want in free agency that could make life a little bit easier going into the season?
David Bakhtiari. You think I came on here waiting to play games? I can't lock the load.
Wow, there it is.
Like, I'm not playing games. David Bakhtiari. Straight up. Listen, our O-line has been horrendous. Like, yo, like, I laugh about a lot of things because I call things and it kind of, rubs people the wrong way because they'll fall in love with certain players and stuff like that. But I call it the way I see it. And I'm looking at this O-line and I'm just like, you ever get, you know what I'm saying? That's how I look at them. That whole right side, I'm like, bro, like, what are we doing? And on top of it, Makari's supposed to be our backup in case anybody gets hurt. He's supposed to be the plug and play guy in case anybody gets hurt. And doesn't someone always get hurt on our offensive line every single year?
Every
so if he's
week.
starting, who's backing up who? Like, yo, I'm being real with you. Who's backing up who? So Bakhtiari, even if he's not what he used to be for the left tackle, he might still be good enough to put him at right tackle. Opens up some, put guys, shuffle the line a little bit. Yeah, we know Tyler Linderbaum gonna be good. We're praying that Ronnie Stanley can stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else, they just need to be able to fit in and do their jobs. If they could just, they don't even got to be the best, but if they could just be consistent, we'll be good. Because once again, you can't pass rush. Once again, everything I say is with context. You can't pass rush normally with Lamar.
No.
Right or wrong?
Right. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? That so the O-line gets, once again, a force multiplier. That's how you multiply. So you can't even pass rush him normally. And now your pass rush definitely can't run pass because now if they do, it could be him handing it off to Henry. And what happens when Henry starts, and starts running? That's how he runs. I heard he breathes really hard every time he takes a step. Like the trunk. Yo, y'all remember Matilda, the trunch bull? Remember when she jumped over, she said, Charlie ho! And she dropped down on the floor? That's him. When everything was shaking, everyone's like, yo, remember Matilda was in the kitchen like, help me. That's how he runs. So how are you going to do anything to stop him? That's what I'm saying. So the O-line doesn't even have to be perfect. They just have to be serviceable. Bring David Bakhtiari over here, bro. Please.
Principal.
Yo, you're
y'all
wild,
remember,
man.
come on now. I can't be that old. Y'all remember the
Yo,
Listen, people forget, bro. When they think about like evil people, they think about like Thanos and you know what I'm saying, those stuff. No, we were growing up, you had the Trunchbull. Homegirl was throwing little girls over the fence by their pigtails. Girl, you forget the movie, she lifts up her car, bro. Those are when the cars are all steel, bro. Steel meal, the long body ones. She was and she turned it all the way, bro. That was a monster of a woman, bro. So like, and that's how, and when I look at her, I'm like, oh my God, that's Derrick Henry. So that's who we got. And that's I'm gonna start calling him. Y'all gave me the perfect idea. Not even Derrick. I'm giving AKAs for everybody. Y'all don't even call him. I call him R. I don't call him Lamar. I call him Himar because he's him, right? And Derrick Henry call him the Trunch. That's right. Bro. He's the Trunch. Yeah, bro. Y'all know what that means for real. Yo.
Why do you think the narrative is out there that Joe Burrow is the one that's going to get over to stop Patrick Mahomes from three-peating as opposed to Lamar Jackson, who is probably right now the number 2 quarterback in the NFL right behind Patrick Mahomes?
Joe Burrow is a good quarterback, contextually speaking. Not taking it away from the young man. With that being said, what is he versus Lamar?
4-1.
Oh, so he loses a lot. What is he versus the Ravens overall? Isn't it like 2-8
Probably similar.
Joe Burrow. What the Ravens are 8-2 against the Bengals.
Yeah.
And what is he versus the Browns?
He hasn't even played that much. I don't even know.
No, I think he's won.
That's what I'm trying to say. He might not even make it out of the AFC North. Like,
That's
bro, listen.
Problem. That's the problem.
You see what I'm trying to say? So when people say that stuff, they never use, I love that word context, because no one ever speaks in it because they're always trying to make their point without context, right? Joe Burrow's a good player, but can he even make it out of the AFC North if there's not injuries? The years where he went, all teams are injury riddled throughout the entire AFC North. That's Pittsburgh, that's the Browns, and that's the Ravens. There was a year where we had UPS drivers as corners. I literally I got to I'll put it on my phone. I had an email. It was like, hello, this is the Baltimore Ravens. Would you like to play corner for us? I was like, I'm 300 pounds. like, yo, how y'all laughing? I'm being serious. I got it in there. I'm telling you, bro. They was calling everybody. So I'm like, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I could play, I could play linebacker. You know what I'm saying? I could put some work in the linebacker. I'm a beast. You know what I'm saying? But corner. No. So that's what we had. UPS drivers, Walmart workers, DoorDash. You know what I'm saying? And that's who Joe Burrow has succeeded against. And did he even have the best record in the league that year? No. 10 games. That's what he won. The next year, what he won? 12? Come on now, bro. We've 12 wins with Lamar. That's easy work. How many times have we had 14 games, 13, 12, 11? Like, he lives in that area. Most of the time, he's sitting the last game of the season.
Yeah, with sunglasses.
With shades, yeah.
So it's like, listen, the Bengals are a good team, but once again, if we're just speaking with context, they don't do well against the Browns or the Ravens. The only team they beat up on in the AFC North is the Steelers, which seem to be our one kryptonite. Because they beat us what? What was it? 1-7 our last bouts versus them. That's what we are versus them or something like that. 1-7.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the only team. Every other team we massacre. As long as we're healthy, we're good. So if we're healthy, I don't think Joe Burrow even makes it out of the AFC North. Can he win enough games? Do you think he's going to win more games than the Browns this year? Do you think he's going to win more games than the Ravens this year?
No.
In a tightly packed AFC where every win is going to count? He might not make the playoffs a second time. I'd love to see the narrative then.
The narrative is so weird out there because, you got Joe Burrow out there who's beating Patrick Mahomes, but then Joe Burrow has a losing record against Lamar, but then they want to propel Josh Allen out there who can't get past
hate
Patrick
that,
Mahomes.
man. I hate the Josh Allen thing, man. I like Josh Allen, but I hate the narrative that he's that.
And that's the narrative that's been out there though.
Don't worry, he's gonna see what Lamar went through all those years this year with no receivers. He's gonna see. He's
not that, man.
And what's crazy is they are saying that Josh Allen is very likely to win MVP.
Oh,
They
he's
thought
gonna
he
see
was
what
gonna
Lamar went
win.
through.
They thought he was gonna win MVP last year. That's why they put him on the cover of Madden.
Mm-hmm. But
y'all didn't peep that?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm saying. You didn't peep that? Like, oh yes, he's our safety. He's gonna win.
If it wasn't for the Dolphins folding, they wouldn't even been in the playoffs. So.
The Dolphins are literally their animal. They're literally like Dolphins don't do well in cold water. Anywhere there's cold, Dolphins be like, nah, I gotta go to Florida, Hawaii. They're literally their animal. If there's any cold, they can't play.
And that's why I say the Dolphins have a ceiling. Tua and the Dolphins have a ceiling. And it's a clear one. Clear ceiling. Everybody in the AFC is in the cold.
And the crazy thing is, they're not even smart enough to have a dome. Like with the Saints, at least they knew that, right? The Saints like, yo, we a track team, bro. We need this covered, right? We need turf, right? Everything got to be right. Them, they're like, nah, we can do it. We have Tyreek. We can do it. Our coach is amazing. We can do it. It's like, bro, once y'all catch that sniff of cold, all y'all need Robitussin.
Well, or they could just win the 1 seed, and they had a chance. But
That's
not
their
gonna-
only bet. That's their only chance.
But
Do
they
you
folded
think
though.
They're
That's
going to
again,
win
they
more
folded.
games. Here's the thing, because that's possible, but guess what happens? The weather happens. Florida's getting rainy. Doesn't that slow down those runners? It
Yep.
does, doesn't it? It does.
Yes, it does.
What happens when it gets close to Christmas? It gets cold. It slows down the runners, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. What happens when it gets to January? The winds start kicking up, right? Yeah, tornadoes and stuff like that. That happens too, right? Exactly. Wind flurries. So they're not going to do well. They're not going to do well. As long as it's outside, and once it starts getting the bad, that's why a lot of these teams, that's why Pittsburgh keeps doing well. Because they'll start slow because everyone's playing good because the weather's nice and everything's perfect. But when it starts getting dirty, mucky, that's when Pittsburgh goes, oh, baby, we home now. Yes. They start throwing mud in your face, poking you in your eyes, all type of foolishness. And then they pull out wins. So that's what I'm saying. Are the Dolphins going to do that? No.
And they got a $53 million guy. Good job, guys.
Bro,
Wow.
he's a finesse. Even that, he's a finesse quarterback.
Yeah.
Like you have certain guys that are like Josh Allen, he's a Terminator, like, oh yes, I want to do this. Like he's a Terminator, he's bigger, stronger, stuff like that. Lamar can do it because he has a whip of an arm. So if he goes like this, it puts so much velocity on the ball, it can cut through. That's why they say he throws missiles. Like he's a dart thrower.
Yeah.
So he can do it. Not Tua. Tua's a
not wrist building.
you know what I'm saying? I'm not even making fun of the brother because it's a beautiful, because he throws beautiful balls. You know what I'm saying? The balls, pause. You know what I'm saying? Pause. Egregious.
I'm not gonna rob something. Y'all know me. I'm dangerous.
And they're accurate. But once the wind starts to kick, what happens to his accuracy? When the cold starts to hit, what happens to his hands? You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So that's his biggest problem. And Tua's a good quarterback. That was the problem a lot of quarterbacks have had. They don't do well in weather. That's why you have teams that have put domes over their city. Matter of fact, I can even make the argument that Josh Allen doesn't even play great in the cold. Look what happened when he went against Bengals. The Bengals played better in the cold than the Bills.
Yep.
And they try to make Josh Allen the number 2 guy.
Hey, yo. I ain't gonna lie, Joe Burrow made that man quit. He was on the sideline like, I just want to go home to my girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I ain't going front. So, listen, all these guys are great. I'm just looking at it contextually. If we're, especially speaking in the regular season, Lamar, the Ravens usually do good in the regular season. Our problem is that when the level of once everything starts to focus in on in the playoffs and stuff like that, our guys don't rise to the occasion. That's been and coaching suffer. And then you see the big coaching difference in the playoffs. That's been our Achilles heel. In the Titans game, Lamar was pressured more than Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Remember that Super Bowl that Patrick Mahomes gets a pass because his O-line kept getting. Yeah. Do you know that? Most people don't even know that stat. Go look it up. Lamar was pressured more than Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. And he still put up about 500 yards.
Yeah, but the narrative now is because he's 2-4.
Because each loss needs context. Even the one versus the Bills, that was a bad weather game. Nobody could throw the ball. It was wind flurries all throughout the stadium. People forget that Josh only had like 120 passing yards that game too.
But now they're putting that narrative about Dak Prescott or Lamar Jackson who can get over the hump. So.
You know why? Because we're talking about it. Once again, it's engagement farming. They know that Lamar. That's why I said I put out a tweet a while ago, and it was, I don't know if you know Greek mythology, Atlas who holds up the world. Yes, and I put Lamar as Atlas, and I put the world as the media because that's literally what happens. If it's a slow day, make a Lamar topic. If we want to go above our stuff, make a Lamar topic, and make sure one of us are saying foolishness about him. And guess what? It goes viral every single time. It's the most guaranteed topic in media.
Yeah, because Stephen A. does it. Shannon Sharp does it.
Yeah.
First things first. Speak.
Emmanuel Acho does it.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Speak. They do it. First things first with Nick Wright and my boy Chris Broussard. They all do it.
Oh, hey, yo, matter of fact, let me bring this home, bro.
Okay.
Let me tell you why they bother me, bro. Now that you brought up speaking them, right? Don't you see how they be acting like, oh, the Ravens aren't going to make the playoffs? Didn't they say that last year?
Yes.
Didn't they say, oh, they have so many holes on the team. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. And this is a new offense and everything. And then once they start winning, oh, they got the best team in the entire NFL. John Harbaugh's the greatest coach we've ever seen. Only Bill Belichick is better than him. That's what they do every single year. And I'd be like, bro, y'all really pivot like that? Like, y'all start the season off saying the Baltimore Ravens will not make the playoffs. Y'all pick saying that Lamar will have a down year. Man gets an MVP, has the best record in the NFL, and they got they're the best team, bro. They're the best team. It's like, where are all the deficiencies that you called out before? They're playing above those deficiencies. You understand where I'm coming from? They're playing above it. They're figuring out ways to try to cover them up. But when you get to the playoffs, those guys, they have to still play at that level. That's what I kept trying to say with the O-line. Our O-line has never been really, truly good since 2018. 2019 was the last time we had a really good O-line. All the years after that, we've been horrible. It's the only reason they've been serviceable is because you can't pass rush Lamar like how you do regular quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And then even if they get to him, he goes,
magic.
Yeah. Man, being dip, dive, duck, and dodge. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it makes them look better than what they are. So what you're looking at is a team that doesn't have an elite O-line and don't have elite weapons. You just have an elite quarterback. And you're saying, and you might have an elite defense. So you're saying, okay, that should be enough. But it's like all of these other quarterbacks, his contemporaries, have way more. And the league knows. Because how many times when Debo was up, A.J. Brown was up, Warren,
Stephon Diggs,
Kath, how they said, do not let the Ravens get any of those guys. Please. Everybody said the same because they know it's like they're going to break the league. It's one. Can you guard A.J. Brown one-on-one all game? Think about what we're being asked of or what's being asked of our wide receivers. Think about it. They're one-on-one most of the game. Be able to guard Devontae Adams one-on-one all game?
That would be sick if we had Devontae Adams.
Tyreek. Why do you think I sang so hard for Tyreek? Y'all don't remember when I did it on Twitter? I sang. I said, EDC, please.
Hey.
Please. Do this one thing. You think I'm joking? Y'all go look at him if you think I'm joking. I'm dead serious with you, bro. I was singing and everything. Because I was like, Tyreek and Lamar? Oh my God. But once again, our wide receivers, they don't have to do as much as some of these other guys because of who's playing quarterback. Because they know that even if they take their eyes off him for a second, he can hit his head on the goalpost. So that's my thing. Imagine us having a guy on the outside that you can't play one-on-one with a Lamar, with a Derrick Henry.
And we're praying that Zay Flowers.
And we're praying that Zay Flowers.
And
see what I mean?
You brought up Lamar, and I said on the podcast before the season even started, I said he's going to win MVP. I just wonder how much I could have got off of that.
Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah, man.
I legit really wonder now,
especially at the height before the 49ers and the Ravens played. If you'd have put Lamar, put all your chips in Lamar, you'd have got a stupid payout because they was on what was that? Brock Purdy. They was on Brock Purdy hard.
Yeah, they were.
Before they played the Ravens, before the Ravens and 49ers played, they was on Brock Purdy hard.
I'm not even going to toot my own horn, bro. But the people down from the Wonderkin show would be able to attest to this. I called the entire AFC North. I called the Bengals missing the playoffs. I called the Ravens making it to at least the AFC Championship game. I called Lamar becoming MVP. I called Tank Dell being Tank Dell. With a lot of people. Remember, I was like, yo, give us Tank Dell, please. I was like, yeah, he's too skinny. I'm like, you can't touch him. Do you not understand? Like, bro, like he's skinny, but you can't touch what you can't hit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You can't touch him. And they was like, no, we don't want him. I'm like, bro. And then when everyone's like, oh, Tank, go back and look up those stuff. I called all of that stuff. All of it. Before the season ever started. That's why Bengal fans was like, this guy Nitro. I'm like, yeah. That's why I was doing that.
Is that why they was trolling you?
Yes, because I called them like, oh, we're going to make it to a dollar. I was like, yeah, no, you're not. I called the order of the AFC North.
Wow.
You could look that's on Twitter too. I called it before everything fell out. The only thing I was wrong on is us winning the Super Bowl. I said we'd make it to at least the AFC championship game, but I think eventually we'll win the Super Bowl next year. It's the only thing I was wrong on. Everything else I called.
So let's get you on record before we get you out of here. How does the AFC North stack up? And who plays in the Super Bowl in New Orleans where the Ravens won in 2012? I'm sure you remember that.
Philly Ravens. That's number one.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. I actually posted that a couple days ago. It's a preview when they were hugging on the, you know what I'm saying, giving daps on the field. Mm-hmm. That's the Super Bowl preview right there. That's what's going to be in New Orleans, right? AFC North. I know a lot of people are going to get mad at me. I know they are. But I have it being number 1 seed, Baltimore. Number 2 seed, the Browns. Number 3 seed.
Really, the Browns? Number 2.
Yeah, the Browns are going to be the number 2 seed in the AFC North. The AFC North.
Okay, AFC North. Okay.
AFC North. I didn't see the full AFC. Like, nah. And number 3, I'm actually going to pick the same thing I picked last year. I think Pittsburgh will be number 3, and I think the Bengals will miss the playoffs again, and they'll be the 4th seed in the AFC North. I think that Baltimore will be tied for the best record with the Chargers, and I think, and I think,
you loving that Jim Harbaugh?
I think, Jim Harbaugh just hits. And I have the Chiefs getting knocked out in the divisional round.
Oh, man.
Really? You don't even...
They don't even make it to the AFC Championship game.
Wow.
They're knocked out in the divisional.
I got one more question for you, Nitro.
Yes, sir.
When is Whitro coming back again, man? Whitro is fantastic.
Listen, man, I got to hit up Whitro. You know what I'm saying? He works at the record store. So, you know, I just got to hit him up when he's free and stuff like that. He be busy, but he loves coming on the show. So once I hit him up and I say, hey, the people really want you, he'll make time. So you'll probably see him. You'll definitely see him during the regular season and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we had this question from the comments right here about Lamar's ankle treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to see it?
Yeah, I see it. How might Lamar Jackson's ankle treatment and confident mindset affect his 50-yard touchdown to Rashad Bateman and the subsequent interception by Demarion Williams? Lamar's going to be fine. I'm not worried about Lamar at all. Like, name another time in history where we're worried about a 2-time MVP. Were you ever worried about Peyton Manning, regardless when he was losing those playoff games? Were you like, oh my God, I'm worried about Peyton Manning? Were you ever saying that?
No.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not worried about him. The only people I'm worried about the players around him. Can the O-line keep people from killing him? Can the receivers make the plays that need to be made? Can Rashad Bateman stay healthy?
Woo. Daddy.
See what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can Harbaugh not Harbaugh it up?
Good
Can
question.
that brother win a challenge, please? When the last time we won a challenge? Yeah, go ahead. Think about that one. Yeah, think about that one. Every challenge he do, lose.
And because he be challenging the most stupidest stuff, and you'd be like, why do you challenge this?
Stuff. Like, think about even last year, how much times we were like, bro, challenge that. And he's like, and then he'll challenge something like, oh, that ball's supposed to be put. Oh yeah, we got that, and it's 3 yards behind the line. Yeah, we're gonna challenge that. And he'll say, "Oh, we challenged it just to see if we can get it." You know what I'm saying? If they would actually, it's like, what? You don't remember the game when he did that and he came after and tried to make excuses for it?
Just like he did at the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
craziness. That was legit crazy.
Yeah, so listen, if Harbaugh can just be a good coach, O-line can block, receivers can stay healthy, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Nitro, what do you got cooking up on the channel with the season pretty much underway, heading into the regular season soon? And anything else you want the people to know about you and how they can keep up with your channel?
Once again, you can catch me on YouTube every day, 2 episodes a day at the Wonderkin Show. You can catch me on Twitter too, Nitro_Quantum. And I be on there on TikTok a little bit, doing my little TikToky things, you know what I'm saying? But no, you can catch me on there too, but definitely always just trying to give you as much content as possible, quality content. It's not about quantity, but I try to give this best quality. And yeah, I think I got a couple, I'm trying to line up a couple interviews, so we'll see if those work out.
Nitro, brother, we can't thank you enough, brother. We appreciate it, and we hope we can do this again real soon, my brother.
Most definitely. Thank you so much for having me, guys. All blessings. Thank y'all, man. Very, very humble.
Yes, sir. We're going to put this interview, and we're going to send it to you tomorrow. We'll put it out so people can watch your whole interview in its entirety. Keep up with what you got going. And as always, we are going to be supporting the Wonderkin Show here on the Flex Zone. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, he said it himself. He will return, as he will be slapping a lot of people, I'm sure, throughout the season. The one and only Nitro. The one and only Mr. Simmons.
Yes,
Daddy.
sir.
We appreciate you, Nitro. Thank you again, man. Much love to you. Much love to all the fam down in Florida. And we'll be talking to you real soon, brother.
Nah, thank y'all, brothers. Thank you. Salute to the Flex.
Thank you, bro.
You feel me? Much love, guys. Much love.
Appreciate you, Nitro. Big ups once again to Nitro joining us on the Flex Zone. Big shout out to the good brother. He's still flexing. He's still flexing backstage. Doing this thing here on the Flex Zone.
Byron, you should pull up that Joe Hendry, man. Because that's just that's every time you did that's what always came to mind.
It's crazy because yesterday we was like, he was like, did you send him the link? I was like, yeah, I just emailed it to him, and then he just popped up right after.
Right. Popped up smiling.
You, man. Yeah.
Big 90s sitcom energy. Theme song.
His name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
There he is. Big shout out to Nitro yet again. Blessing us here on the Flex Zone. We're going to have him back. We're going to put the interview up on the channel tomorrow for those who did not get a chance to see it. And he's going to be dropping content. The man doesn't sleep. He's always working, dropping videos. So we appreciate him for making time out of his busy schedule to join us. Kavante, let's go to you, brother. Let's talk some Commanders because we got some news today. Jaden Daniels named QB1. No surprise there. How you feeling, brother? Number 2 overall pick, but number 1 on the depth chart for the Commanders.
This could have happened weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate, Dan Quinn staying strong and not saying anything until he absolutely has to. That's the only right way to do it. But he's been the guy for a while now. Like, they've been raving about him in training camp. The joint practices with the Jets. Sauce Gardner, saucy. Arguably the top corner in the NFL right now was like, that's the guy. He's coming. The Dolphins, nothing but great things to say from their insiders and from their articles and publications and all that. Nothing but good things to say. And he looks as advertised. He has a couple passes that's like, yeah, we got a guy that can throw the ball. This is cool. So I'm absolutely happy and ecstatic, but just like Nitro's been saying, and just like I've been saying for at least the past 3-4 years, I'm very concerned for the offensive line. very concerned of the offensive line, and Jaden Daniels has some traits that is similar to Lamar Jackson. But if that offensive line ain't hitting and doing what it's supposed to, the brother's gonna have a long year. But if it can be serviceable, he can have a rookie of the year type of year. And yes, Caleb Williams is still out there.
We will keep an eye out for that. Also, looks like the Raiders announced that Gardner Minshew will start over Aiden O'Connell, I'm sure.
Who cares?
Mr. Antonio Pierce will have a long season. Dre, we got some sad news. Speaking of the rookie quarterbacks, J.J. McCarthy. Somebody check on Jesse, by the way, the Chi-Town Smart, and check on CJ and AJ as their rookie quarterback. Their savior that they coined him is out for the season with the knee injury. Sam Darnold will be QB1 for the Vikings.
There it is.
This makes and this is the reason you need two quarterbacks. I had said this earlier at the station. I was saying you need to. It's so prevalent right now that you have a backup quarterback, because the quarterback position is one thing to get that right, but then when you have a good backup, because now, as we saw last season with the Browns, for example, you need a guy who can back up just in case your quarterback gets hurt. Well, it was a high number last year, like a egregious number, that the number of backup quarterbacks, but you need a decent backup. I just don't see Sam Darnold doing it, even though this was a bridge year for the Vikings, being that they were going to have a rookie quarterback. This may be one of the greatest rookie classes of all time that we've seen. This class right here, I believe in these quarterbacks that much.
You've been saying that, Drake, for the past couple of weeks. I give you that. You have been saying that.
And they all look good when you look at, I know it's preseason, but they all look good, all of them. So, and I just feel bad for JJ, because then that sets the Vikings back even further. And the fact that all the quarterbacks look good. I mean, it's not regular season yet, but you at least saw a spark with each one of these quarterbacks. So it's unfortunate for the Vikings right now.
Raj, is your boy Biden is. I don't know why he's up this late. I thought it was past his bedtime, but
Wow.
Yes, they bought him out of cryostasis. JJ McCarthy out for the season, though. Your boy Justin Jefferson, I'm sure he'll still eat, though.
Yeah, he'll still eat. I know he's very disappointed because he saw JJ McCarthy week 1 and he was like,
he was smiling, man.
He was smiling. He was clapping on the sidelines. He was praising him when he, got a touchdown. I mean, and just for that, for him to be out for the entire season, there you go. And just for that, for him to be out for the entire season is very disheartening, for that Minnesota fan base. But like Dre said, man, every quarterback that was in a rookie draft has been playing well, and he was one of them. JJ McCarthy was one of them. It is going to set them back another year. Hopefully, Sam Darnold has some type of a turnaround. We've seen him, of course, with the Jets, and he was god awful with them. Yes, but I mean, he had his time with the San Francisco 49ers as well as a backup. So maybe he's learned something. We shall see going into week 1. But yeah, man, it sucks that JJ McCarthy is gone.
Cravante, last but not least, the NFC North. We haven't talked about it yet. We'll get to it probably next week, but that division becomes a little more, I guess, clearer now. Becomes a 3-team race, I guess, now.
I really thought it was because the Vikings had a rookie quarterback. I didn't expect too much from them. I kind of thought it was going to be the Lions and the Packers type of race anyway. The Bears have a lot of potential, but rookie quarterback, there's going to be some bumps and bruises. And I do think the Lions are still the best team slightly in the division, but the Packers are formidable at this time. So I think it's a 2-man race.
Bro, you don't have the Bears?
Nah, they're not just gonna pop up out of nowhere and be contenders in the division. As long as they look competitive, that'll be good. I don't think they're gonna jump from down in the dumps to all of a sudden they'll be contenders. And I'm talking about contenders in the division. It takes some time to get there, and they have potential. But I don't think it happens like that.
They have a lot of talent, though, so it wouldn't surprise me if it did.
I think they'll make a push, but I think you're right. They may not make the playoffs, or either one or two things. Either they'll make a real strong push to get in, or they'll get in and probably be bounced out right away. But like you said, Rod, just so much talent there that's why I'm on the fence about where they'll be exactly. And I'm not sold as much on other teams in the NFC. I think it's really still seems like it's Philadelphia, San Francisco, and I know people want to throw the Cowboys in there, but I'm so skeptical about the Cowboys right now. That I mean, it's just honestly speaking,
they're a great regular season team, but they just like the Ravens.
But even so, Raj, with CeeDee Lamb not being there, this being, I think it's a lot of pressure being that you don't have Dak Prescott signed, no matter what he's saying about this new contract. I think for Dak Prescott, it's probably best that if he does play the season out and then enter free agency, so that way, either way, he'll have to get paid. And then Mike McCarthy on his last year, it's just a lot of pressure to deal with Dallas. Plus, you just being a Cowboys fan, just being the Cowboys. So I think it's just two teams still right there in the NFC as opposed to the AFC. I think the AFC is just a rougher conference right there, and that's why that was such a hot take for Nitro to say that the Chiefs would get bounced out early, because right now there's this contest about can they three-peat. Is Joe Burrow going to be the one to get them out? What about the Texans? So it's a lot of what ifs in the AFC as opposed to the NFC. You just really have two teams who, for the past few years, been representing the NFC in the Super Bowl, and then this year you just wonder which one of them is going to propel again to get back to the Super Bowl.
Well, let's talk about an NFC team. Go ahead. You got something, Cravante, real quick?
I was just going to say the Bears' saving grace is that only one team's coming out the South. So it's given, it's given, they look like, what I'm saying, and I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit, but so that's two teams that could come from each of the other divisions. So, that's given an opportunity, but I don't think the Bears are better than the Packers. I don't think the Bears are better.
They're not. No, what is that? Whoa, brother. We're not saying that. I didn't say that.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like, they got to go through them in order to make the playoffs, right?
Oh, okay. I thought you were that. I was like, no, brother. I didn't go that far.
Well, I always like to say, and I don't know what's going to happen because I don't. It's always 5 in and 5 out. So you always got at least 5 in,
very true, very true,
5 out, and there's always a worst to first. And the Bears did have the best defense in the league after getting Cravante's boy Montez Sweat. But Cravante, I'm glad you alluded to it, and I'll go to you first. Atlanta, I know we probably all are kind of leaning towards them in the NFC South, but they kind of solidified themselves, getting Matt Judon for a 3rd-round pick, then signing Justin Simmons, Pro Bowl safety, led the league in interceptions, 1-year deal, $8 million. We're going to give our predictions for the South after this, but these two moves, Cravante, and we always talk about the Falcons going to Falcon. It's usually because the defense not being able to close out a game, and they got a pass rusher and a guy on the back end. You got some other guys on defense there. They play inside. They play in the NFC South. Falcons got to be the favorite, right?
Yeah, definitely. Those two moves are big time moves. You got somebody on the back end, like you said. You got somebody that could get you double-digit sacks. You know what I'm saying? So the Falcons are probably they're probably the slight favorites right now. Kirk Cousins is not doing it for me. That's the issue with the Falcons. Is Kirk Cousins coming off of Achilles, and they're probably not going to start unless there's an extreme setback. I don't think they're going to start Michael Penix. They're going to try to trot Kirk Cousins out there, and I think for the Falcons to really soar, Kirk Cousins can't do it. Then Kirk Cousins has to play terrible. And then Michael Penix has to get in there, and then they'll take off. Kirk Cousins not going to do it. I don't think he's going to do it for
him. Go ahead, Joe, real quick. Your thoughts on the signings before we get to the NFC South.
I think these are really good signings, and which is what's making me want to pick the Falcons to win the NFC South, but with Cravante, it's just a question at quarterback. Kirk Cousins is good enough to get you to the playoffs, but I think that's why they drafted Michael Penix to get them. They'll have their rookie quarterback to get in there and kind of propel them to the next level. But I think this is just a learning year, and I think that in about a year, they might get off that Kirk Cousins deal within maybe a year. I know people are propelling about 2 years, but I'm really thinking that it may just be a year because Michael Penix, we saw what he did in college. And if he did what he did in college and then you're going to Atlanta, you've seen Jordan Love after a year of learning. You've seen Patrick Mahomes. So is that process of still learning and developing, it can still work. And then also earlier I said about the 2 quarterback system, because Kirk Cousins is coming off an Achilles injury. He's older, and you have Michael Penix right there. It might be even a situation where similar to with Lamar and Joe Flacco, where he might get hurt. I'm not saying I don't wish him to get hurt, but I'm saying that the reality of it is when you're playing football, he might get hurt, and then it might be a way for Michael Penix to get in there, and then who knows what happens once he's in there. Because the Falcons do have pieces. Yeah, we're talking about the defensive pieces, but they also have offensive pieces too.
Absolutely.
It's just that they've just been missing a quarterback and a really good, competent head coach for the longest time. They got both right now. We'll see what happens, because you saw that they made the choice not to go with Bill Belichick, and it's looking like it's panning out good in the right direction for them.
Raj, I know we wanted Judon back here in Baltimore for a 3rd round pick. And Justin Simmons, too. I mean, the Ravens did sign Eddie Jackson, but 2 Pro Bowlers. I mean, sheesh, let's not forget.
Yeah, man. I thought it was great. I ain't gonna lie to you. Getting Justin Simmons and getting Matt Judon was definitely what the Falcons needed to get over the hump, or at least to get or make it to the playoffs. Because I thought there were a few pieces away, but now it seems to be forming out in the correct, matter, because now they have the quarterback who has experience in the playoffs. Now they got Bijan Robinson, who's going to be a great player. Drake London is pretty good. And then you have Jesse Bates on the back end. You have Justin Simmons on the back end. You have for pass rush, you got Matt Judon. So it's like the Falcons, we made fun of them a couple years ago. We didn't know what they was doing when they decided to pass on Lamar Jackson, because they had I think it was they number 1 in the salary cap, I believe, back then.
Mm-hmm. They were, yeah.
So they're finally making use of it, and now they actually in a position where not only can they compete now, but if they don't get it done, they still have Michael Penix on the bench. He can learn from Kirk Cousins, get the full year or 2, or however many years he might need to be the starter. And then they can go forward from there and still be very competitive. But they set themselves up, for a very long time. So shout out to the Atlanta Falcons. For once, I can say that they're not going to Falcon, So hats off to them.
Let's look at the NFC South. Last season, 9-8, pretty much got the division for the Buccaneers, who won it for the 2nd straight season with Baker Mayfield. Saints were 9-8. Falcons 7-10. The Carolina Panthers 2-15 with Bryce Young. Raheem Morris, the new coach in Atlanta, by the way, so a brother down in the ATL. Can't forget that. So we do want to see him do well. Raj, how do you see this division playing out? Looks like it's one of those divisions. You win 9 games, you really can pretty much win a division.
Well, honestly, I think it's a 2-team race. It's between the Buccaneers and the Falcons. Now, granted, the Saints still got some pieces. They still got, Mr. Carr and who was running back? I can't think of his
Alvin
name.
Kamara punching people.
Kamara, but he's on the downside right now.
They got Jamal Williams from Detroit too, running back.
Yeah, they got Jamal Williams, but I just don't.
No receivers though.
I don't think that. Yeah, boy, they got Chris Olave. He's
Olave. Yeah,
Olave.
That's my guy.
He's nice. Don't get me wrong. He's a good receiver, but it's like they're the 3rd team in this division. They're the 3rd team in this division. I don't see them making the playoffs. I don't even think they're going to get 9 wins, because they got 9 wins last year. I just don't see it. I think the Falcons are going to be fighting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for a playoff position or for the division in itself. Now, Granted, the Buccaneers was not the greatest last year either, because you can see that the division last year was very extremely close. But I think the moves that the Falcons made so far, I think they're going to win a division, but I think the Buccaneers will be they'll be right behind them. They'll be right there because one, they got the experience from last year. Also, Baker Mayfield, I mean, he's figured out how to, play great as a quarterback again, which is a good thing for him. He still has his weapons in Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, so that always is a plus. That defense is not taking a step back either. And I believe they won a playoff game last year too. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Mm-hmm. So, and they almost won the other playoff game. So
against Detroit.
Yep, against Detroit. So they're gonna be in it. They're gonna be in it right with the Falcons. But it's gonna be tough, man. But I got the Falcons coming out the NFC South with the Buccaneers. Maybe finding a way in the wild card. I'm not sure, but it's going to be tough between those two teams. Now, the Carolina Panthers, I mean, they might win a couple more games than they did last year, but they're still last in this division. I mean, hopefully the quarterback there, has another step because Bryce Young, because he was number 1 overall pick last year, but he's missing a lot, man. He's missing a lot. He really didn't have the weapons. Definitely didn't have the defense. Didn't have the coaching. Hopefully it turns around for them this year. Hopefully they get a little bit better, but they're going to take baby steps in that spot. So it's going to be either the Falcons or the Buccaneers, but I'm going with the Falcons.
Dre, I'm gonna let you go next, but Danny Canellis, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator who helped Baker Mayfield have a breakout season and get paid, is now the head coach for Carolina. So we'll see what he can do for Bryce Young, which I think will help and do wonders for him. Go ahead, Dre.
Man, the Panthers already talking about drafting a new quarterback. It's craziness. But like you said, Panthers, we know they going fishing already before the season even started. Same thing with the Saints, and I feel bad for my man Derek Carr because I thought they might have some potential, but they ain't going nowhere. The Buccaneers, I like Baker and what he's been able to do, but I just don't see anything with them propelling to build off of last season. I think that they'll kind of still be the same. It just seems like the Falcons are the team that made all the right moves right now to get them at least the division. So I'm a roll with the Falcons as well. Maybe the Bucks might make a somewhat of a push, but I just doubt if they'll get in. I think it's just one team coming out of the NFC South, and that's the Atlanta Falcons. They're predicting about 12 wins. I don't know about 12, maybe 10 to
12.
Yeah, so they're saying out there that they could get 12.
I got to see the schedule. Because I mean, the South isn't good.
That's why I said I can see 10. But I can't see
12, I think 12.
But like y'all said, outside of San Francisco, who won 12 last year, you had LA with 10, but that was a surprise. They weren't expected to do it. I mean, it was Detroit and Dallas and Philly were the only other two teams with double-digit wins. So the NFC is, you can make a case for just about any team to make the playoffs.
And you know what? Earlier I did say I said it was a 2-team race. I did forget about the Detroit Lions. How can I forget about my boy?
About your boy biting kneecap.
Biting kneecap. There you go. Yeah.
So the NFC, you can make a case for just about any team.
And that was a team that was real close. Had they just run the football, we talk about the Ravens run the football. Had the Detroit Lions ran the football, it probably could have been them right there in the Super Bowl.
Go ahead, Karante.
I think the Buccaneers, their edge is probably at coaching. That's probably the only edge that I'm giving the Buccaneers right now. But I think the Falcons are the favorite, not the clear favorite, but I think they're the slight favorite. Because again, Kirk Cousins is still the quarterback.
He'll at least get you to the playoffs.
Nah, okay. If he's healthy, it's more so not a Kirk Cousins. Let me not say it's not really a Kirk Cousins thing for me. is Kirk Cousins coming off an injury at that age. He not coming off a regular injury. He coming off of Achilles. Achilles is the Achilles heel for all athletes. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you then: is this the same question that you have about Aaron Rodgers too?
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Fair enough.
And again, the age and injury, because good guys don't recover how they used to. And also we gotta look at the offensive line. From you say Aaron Rodgers, so the Jets and the Falcons in this case. How good is the offensive lines for these two organizations? But I do think the Falcons are the favorite. The Panthers, they might get another game or two. I don't see them going past 4 wins total. The Saints do still have pieces, but they're still trying to figure themselves out right now. I think they'll be competitive, but I do think it'll be the Panthers bring up the rear, the Saints at 3rd, Tampa Bay at 2, and the Falcons at 1 to win the division. And who's the coach down there in Atlanta?
Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris. I know him from his days in DC. He's a really, really good guy. They rave about him. Like, they love Raheem Morris. Wherever he's gone, he's been.
And I think he was the defensive coordinator when the Rams won the Super Bowl. I think he was. So there you go.
He was
our second chance.
He was our secondary coach back in the day. But he's well loved wherever he goes, and he's going to get. I think he'll get the most out of the Falcons. He is a defensive-minded head coach, but I think he's bringing what DeMeco Ryans has brought to the Houston Texans. I feel like he can do that. And in Atlanta, woo! You want ATL ain't been on fire on the football side of the game in a while. So I think he'll bring some prominence back to ATL. But I do think they are the front runner right now to win the division.
Let's go to the AFC South. Kravante, I'll start with you real quick. Yeah. Last season, your Houston Texans with your boy CJ Stroud went 10-7. Jaguars just paid Trevor Lawrence 9-8. Colts 1 game out of the playoffs. Let's not forget Anthony Richardson, their number 1 quarterback, did not play but 2 games last year. And the Titans with Will Levis 6-11. Kravante, how do you see this playing out? Do you see it being pretty similar?
I'm gonna jump right into the middle. The Indianapolis Colts, brother, the good guy Richardson. I need to see a full. I need to see a full season. Because we saw the potential at Florida, and we see a little bit of the potential in the 3-4 games that he did play, but he didn't finish any of them due to injury. A lot of things have to change in order for Indianapolis Colts for their luck to change to turn around. Because they can be a dark horse. The Colts can be a dark horse in this division, in this conference. But if Richardson is not healthy and not making better decisions on the football field, they are going to be right where they are, right where they were last year. The Titans broke off Ladarius Sneed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So they got a top tier corner, so they're trying to get the defense together. Will Levis, one thing about him, he gonna ball. He's gonna throw the football. Will it be to the right team? Well, that's yet to be determined. He's like a poor man's Josh Allen. That's what Will Levis is. So he could make boneheaded decisions from time to time. So yeah, that's absolutely a thing. Hopkins still down there?
I think he's hurt right now too.
Well, yeah.
And they also signed Tyler Boyd from Cincy and Treylon Burks they drafted a few years ago, by the way.
So He has a new receiving core. It's gonna take half a year to get things situated and get
Tony
things
Pollard from Dallas, by the way, the new running back too, taking over
not
for King.
moving, not moving the needle at all.
Okay, all right. Just thought I'd put it out there.
With his new wide receiver core, it's gonna take half a season for them to get in sync for real. And unfortunately, they're probably going to be where they are, depending on how the Colts fare as far as injuries are concerned. But I kind of see the division shaping out how it is now. Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't know, man. Like I said this before, Trevor Lawrence, we have to actually sit down and figure out, is he as advertised? We're 3 years. This is going to his 4th season. Mm-hmm. He has not. Things aren't shaking out how we thought they would. And granted, the first year, take it out, or Urban Liar, take that out. That season does not. That season should not count. But getting the Super Bowl winning head coach and Doug Peterson, you would think things would change and things were on an upswing for a little bit, but I don't know. I'm missing that signature win, and I guess he did beat the Ravens that one time, but I'm looking for that signature win and some consistency, because the Texans walked them down. I ain't gonna hold y'all. Y'all saw it. The Texans walked. The Jacksonville Jaguars had a sizable, significant lead.
Had the number 1 seed at one point last year.
And had a significant lead on the division. Damn, they had a stranglehold. And the Texans walked them down. Absolutely walked them down. Now, in the Texans winning the games they supposed to win, the Jacksonville lost a couple of them games and allowed the Texans to come back and really snatch the division in the last week. So I think the Jaguars are probably gonna be right about there. And my guy CJ Stroud, D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud, they are doing it. I'm hoping. Excuse me. I think he's gonna take the next step. I think he's gonna take the next step, and the AFC should be put on notice because CJ Stroud is here, and he got another weapon. Now, is this weapon going to be good for his development in Stephon Diggs? I'm not sure. Great wide receiver, top 5 wide receiver, but he's a diva or Devo, whatever that is. But I don't want him to stunt CJ Stroud's growth, because the places that this is Stephon Diggs' third city, third team. At some point, you gotta look at you, brother. At some point, you gotta look at you. And I'm hoping he does not come in and be a cancer. No, Dre, not that type of cancer, but a cancer. I get you. But a cancer and a toxic person in their locker room. And if he is not, because I mean, honestly, truthfully, he's probably gonna be there a year. I don't know if he's gonna be there past.
I don't think he got an extension on his deal. I think they just traded him.
And Houston did that the right way. They absolutely did it the right way. Don't come over here stunting out young phenom at quarterback. Don't do that. So we'll see how it goes. But CJ Stroud, dare I say, best quarterback in the division.
Go ahead, Raj.
So yeah.
I'm gonna keep this nice and simple. I think the Houston Texans are the best team in that division. I think it's by a landslide. I think CJ Stroud, from what he did to the Jacksonville Jaguars last year, being a team that had no business even winning the division, to actually winning the division because of his play and what he did for that team around him. I just think they're going to continue to take off. Now, who's going to be the second team in that division that's going to win, probably the Indianapolis Colts. I like their defense. I think Anthony Richardson, I mean, he doesn't have to be the greatest quarterback. Gardner Minshew surely wasn't. But I think that I think Anthony Richardson is going to be a pretty good quarterback. Even if he, as long as he stays healthy. But if he doesn't, they got Joe Flacco. We know what Joe Flacco can do.
Here you go with the flu.
Hey. We know what Joe Flacco can do. They have significant weapons over there. And Flacco likes to fling the football. So I think he'll definitely be able to do that. Stop it.
Go Google it.
But as far as the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think they take another step back. Trevor Lawrence, they gave him that big money contract. I don't know why. Fabio is going backwards. Doesn't have as many weapons as he used to have. And that defense is a little shaky. As far in the Tennessee Titans, I do like what they did with that weaponry, but I'm not sure about Will Levis. I'm not sure about their running back situation either, since Derrick Henry is gone. And I think they got a new head coach, I believe, too, right?
Yes, Bill Callahan from the Bengals.
Yeah.
Brian Callahan from the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling
offensive
that.
coordinator.
Not really feeling that. So I think they'll be fighting for third or fourth in that division. I think it's the Texans to lose, honestly, because they have everything going for them. And I do not think that Stephon Diggs is going to be a hindrance to CJ Stroud. I think he's going to feed off of CJ Stroud. I think CJ Stroud is going to be an MVP candidate. You can book that right now. But go ahead, Dre.
All right, I'm not going to take up too much time. I agree with everybody. I think that the Texans, they're going to be a candidate for the possible AFC championship. It might be Ravens versus the Texans in a playoff rematch. We'll see what happens down the road. But I think three teams are coming out of that division. I think the Texans, Jaguars, and the Colts. I know usually we say our division, but I think that this year it's going to be three teams coming out of that division, being that they're all healthy. I think all three teams, because I believe in Anthony Richardson. I believe that the Jaguars will bounce back, and the Texans are just going to build off what they did last year. I don't see a drop off with CJ Stroud.
Let us know in the comment section, who do you have winning the NFC and AFC South? Kind of all in agreement there. But I do agree with you, Dre and Raj. I think the Colts could be a sneaky wild card team. They were one game out of it last year, so we'll see what happens with that. Go ahead,
Byron, real quick, I was going to say, I just want to add to what you're saying. You said that about the Colts. Remember, they were right there with the Browns about losing a quarterback, but like you said, they were real close, even without a quarterback. So that shows good head coaching and good still quarterback play. What Nitro was saying earlier, where it's still moving even with their main quarterback being down.
And I think the Colts have a really good roster outside of quarterback. And if Richardson can play like he's supposed to, might have something, especially Steichen out of Philly. Dre, the WNBA is back. We will be remiss not to talk about it real quick. Angel Reese, another double-double. Caitlin Clark is on another level. The Aces get dominated by the Liberty again. The playoffs are quickly approaching. Yeah. And how you feeling about the WNBA? It's back from the Olympic hiatus.
I'm happy. I mean, it just seems odd that it's just been that long without WNBA basketball, but I'm happy that it's a continuation. The Liberty kind of scares you though, because you know a lot of people were saying about the Aces. We were talking about who has the better chance to three-peat. Would it be the Aces? Would it be the Chiefs? And I do forget the other teams that we did put in that mix about three-peating, but I don't know. Right now, the Liberty just seem like they're on a mission right now. And sometimes when you've been a champion, you get contentment. And I'm not saying that with Asia Wilson, but I'm saying that with the rest of the squad. That sometimes it can be hard to rev yourself back up for another championship run. But we'll see what happens when playoff time comes around. But I'm always rooting for my girl Asia. but right now the Liberty just seem to still be this the team of destiny this year right now.
And quietly, the Minnesota Lynx, I think, are 18-8.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. They are quietly as good as anybody. Cravant, I did want to shout them out because I did see they won the other night. Miss Collier doing her thing. So the Minnesota Lynx are up there with the Aces and the Liberty as one of those teams. How you feeling about the second half of the WNBA season, Cravante?
I think the Liberty have gotten overshadowed, when rightfully so, because the Aces did win back-to-back championships. But I thought the Liberty were always a formidable opponent, and I think they're slowly proving it. Going into the playoffs this year, the Aces don't look as good as they've done the past couple years, and the Liberty look like how I guess how we imagine the Aces look. Well, I guess this is how the Aces look after their first championship. The Liberty look damn good. Shout out to the Fever. The Fever are in a playoff position right now. I believe if the playoffs ended, if the playoffs were to start, I believe the Fever would be included in that in the tournament. So that's good. Shout out to the Lynx. Byron, you were talking about them. They came. I don't want to say they came out of nowhere, but I thought it would be the Aces at the top of the Western Conference. But Stewie and the Liberty, they, like Dre said, they are on a mission. And they look like the best team right now. 4 losses all year is
sick, man.
Nothing to sneeze at. And please just keep going past that team with the DC next to it. Jesus Christ.
Hey, look, they've gotten better though. Better than what they were, because it didn't look good early on.
Come on now, say it with me. Everybody beats the win.
I'm sorry. Too soon. I'm sorry.
I guess it fits. It still fits. Just mystics.
Check
this out. The Liberty has the Liberty has 4 losses, and the Mystics only have 6 wins. Crazy.
Yeah. I'll just say this.
Good, Raj.
I just wish Caitlin Clark was part of the Olympics. I mean, from where she started at in the beginning of the season to where she is now is light years ahead of everybody else, man, including Angel Reese. And I love Angel Reese, but Caitlin Clark, man, is doing the thing right now. I watched another game of hers last night where she almost, I think, had a triple-double. I think she broke another record, I believe. So, yeah, man, she's amazing to watch, man. And that team has gotten a lot better. They're 13-15. By the time the season's over with, they might be over 500. So,
man, they are right now, like you said, Caitlin, she's on a different level. I think Angel Reese is right there. I think their games are just different, though. But Angel, you can't discount what she's been doing.
Oh, of course not. You can't discount it.
Right now. I think it's just a rookie year, and I think that they should have both been on the Olympic team. It's crazy because viewership for everybody either went up or was consistent except for women's basketball. And I think that they just missed a mark not having Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese when you know that this is their must-see TV. And I think that I don't know what the Olympic team was thinking, but you could have had both of those women in there, because it's not going to be the same 4 years from now. Sometimes you got to just do something while the lightning is striking. As we've seen, with the WWE a few times, being Daniel Bryan or Cody Rhodes, sometimes you just got to go with the hot hand, even though this is who you want to go with. You got to go sometimes with what the people want.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Dre. And what the people want now, Cravante, is to get goofy. And that's time for Cravante's Goofies of the Week. Should be another good one.
Of course. Something wrong here.
Well, now that's goofy. Stupid. Just stupid. Jam. Oh, jam.
It's been so much goofiness that's been going on, and there's been some goofiness that I'm not going to talk about on air. I'll talk. We'll talk about it offline. So I'll leave one of them alone because I had to, but I was like, I'm not going to talk about it. But there is one. There is one that I do want to talk about. But let me not be rude. Welcome to Goofies of the Week, sponsored by the Flex Zone. Appreciate you guys for giving me a little bit of time to let me tell the good people what I thought was goofy this week. And
just this.
Byron, I don't know if you had a better picture of the goofy that I sent to the group.
But, yes, I'm working on that now.
Oh, yeah. So the Olympics was star-studded. The USA looked great. Won more medals than anybody. And Snoop Dogg was out there, like I said, star-studded. Folks was out there supporting, having a good time. A former quarterback of mine from way back in the day, and by back in the day I mean like maybe about 12 years ago. We drafted a former Heisman Trophy winner and former number 2 overall pick, and Robert Griffin III. He was out in Paris having a lovely time with his family, and we found out that Robert RG3 will not be, well, I guess they decided not to pick up his contract or extend his contract with ESPN. So he's pretty much out in the streets right now. Oh boy. And I think this may be why. Because it's so strange. It's so strange because right after this, and you know, it's cut because this croissant that he's about to devour is much bigger, and his I believe his wife is on the other end of it. And it looked wild. It looked wild as a wide shot, but it looks even crazier when we zoom in a little bit, because he's really attacking this. He's really attacking this bread. Like how the brother the guys the new, how the kids say, devouring like a glizzy. And for those of y'all that don't know and are in my age group, glizzy is a hot dog. So he looks like he's about to devour it like he would a hot dog or glizzy, and that is the full view. It looks like he's more into it than she is.
Finish him, Daddy.
Oh boy. He looks like he's into it just a wee bit more than she is. She looks a little bit more reserved, and RG3 is just going all the way turned up. You understand? And yeah, no, with no human, with no regard for human life. That's what it is. I think that's the guy. I think that's a line that y'all may like. I heard it doing wrestling. It's one of the funnier lines that I like, because he literally looked like he has no regard for human life with that abnormally large piece of bread. Croissants are great and delicious. I didn't know they come in that size, and it looks like RG3 was excited that it came in that size, huh? And yeah, he looked. Oh man, Oh no, definitely bread. Definitely bread. It's definitely bread. It's definitely bread in there. But RG3, you look crazy, brother. You look wild right now. And I ain't gonna hold you, bro. This might be why ESPN got you let you go, brother, because you're too much. You're entirely too much. You didn't have no regard for human life. You had no regards for what was going on around you. You didn't have no regard for how it made you look as a representative of ESPN. And I think ESPN was like, honestly, you probably gave them this reason. Gave him this very small reason to let you go. At least it wasn't a big piece. Thanks, Raj. Thanks, Raj. It wasn't quite that. Oh my gosh, there's more. And he looked at that and said, "Yeah, I already know what I'm gonna do." Oh yeah, yep. Oh snap! That's how you get down, bro. Oh boy.
I'm about to go rob something.
Oh.
Y'all know me. I'm dangerous.
Huh. This is new. This is absolutely new to me. And this is yeah, RG3. So he's definitely on the risque side of things. RG3, brother. I'm not saying there's other companies out there that I'm sure will be willing to give you an opportunity. But I think ESPN said they were done after seeing you devour that that croissant. You look wild. I ain't gonna hold you, brother. You look wild. You look real wild out there in the streets and in the Paris streets, embarrassing Americans, embarrassing the USA because you're doing a lot. Oh man, they didn't zoom in. Like I said, you knew what you was doing. You knew what you wanted.
One big son of a bitch!
You knew what you was doing. You knew what you wanted. Now your lady on the other end looked a little bit more reserved, but you knew you was gonna dive in, and you didn't care how it looked, which is probably part of the problem. I'm gonna leave it. RG3, bro, and before I end, he's been doing a lot of wild stuff as of late on like TikTok, Instagram, and all that. And this still picture is one of the worst of them. Absolutely one of the worst of them. But that's my lone goofy of the week. Y'all know my line. There's a thin line between goofy and great. And RG3 is on the wrong end of it. And they went all the way across the pond to do that mess. Got to do better.
Of course. Something wrong here.
Well, now that's goofy. Stupid. Just stupid. Jam. Oh, Jam.
Thank you for that goofy of the week, Cravante.
What's wrong with him, yo?
He likes big things in his mouth, I guess.
Damn it. End the show now, Byron. End it now.
Man, what a show. Episode 454 in the books. Dre, we're approaching episode 455 next Monday as we inch closer to the start of the regular season with football. What can the people expect next week? We may have a guest. I had to talk to you guys after the show, but what can the people expect, man? We continue in these division previews, and I believe next week will be college football. Well,
college football coming up. AEW All In this weekend. Bash in Berlin. So we got a couple live streams as well coming up with the podcast. So we've got a lot happening coming up. We're busy.
Big Raj, let the people know on social media. I think we hit 20 likes. I know we were trying to get 20, so if you please hit that like button. But what the people need to do on social media, we appreciate all the love tonight.
Man, just hit the like and subscribe button, man. That's all we ask. If you want to donate to the channel, hit the super chat. You know, that's up to you as well. We definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. And yeah, we have plenty of stuff coming up. Like you said, a bunch of wrestling previews. AW Dynamite on Wednesday. Pretty sure more Ravens content as well. And just stay tuned, man. We got tons of stuff coming.
And we would be remiss, as I do have to stop the music, because this past weekend, the one, the only voice of reason, Cravante, Bebe, celebrated another lap around the sun. Cravante, happy birthday, my brother.
Not raising the roof like this.
How you feeling, brother? Did you have a good birthday?
I appreciate it, man. Definitely appreciate it. It was chill. I'm going out of town next weekend, and I'm going to DC. But just to get away for a little bit, hang out, hit a couple museums with the lady. So, that's my real B-Day weekend. This weekend was mad chill.
Well, keep you posted. Man, to get Cravante outside one more time before summertime and before the kids go back to school. But another big week coming
Byron,
up.
we gonna have you outside, man?
Hey, man, just gotta let me know. I'll pull up. I got the fellowship with Big Raj. We got to see Deadpool and eat that wonderful, succulent, delicious popcorn from AMC Theaters. Yes. It was great. So we got to do it again. But yes, this week, big week. Wednesday, we're live for Dynamite Go Home show for All In. Live Sunday, 1 p.m. No, not football. Professional wrestling. AEW, second straight year of All In from Wembley. Sunday, 1 p.m. We'll be live. Previews probably coming as early as tomorrow, Wednesday. We got Bryan Danielson putting his career on the line against Swerve. We got MJF and Will Ospreay. We got Tony Storm and Ryan May. DMD versus CEO. So it should be some good
matches.
Pay-per-view.
And Yellow might be going to the show.
Some surprises and debuts as well. We'll get some match previews out in next week. Basher Berlin. Now we know we got a strap match with Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. Gunther, Randy Orton. A lot of other things going on. So a lot of content on the channel. And then next week, episode 455, we'll take a look at the next two division previews. And college football is back. And this time, it's not just 4 teams. It's 12 teams who make the playoffs. So we'll talk about that and talk about the expanded playoffs and who could be the national champion. Real quick, Georgia and Ohio State 1-2 in the coaches poll. So Cravante, I know you love to hear that as well. But make sure you guys show some love one more time. Put your hands together for the one, the only Nitro, who was here in the building with us on the Flex Zone podcast. Check out his channel at The Wonder King Show. Follow him and support the brother. He's always showing his love, and he will be back here on the Flex Zone as well. And as always, the show is executive produced by the OTC, the tribal chief himself, the one, the only, Drizzy, Dre. We acknowledge you. Throw your ones up and acknowledge the Hit the Sports podcast table, the Flex Zone podcast, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, the Flex Zone 1. And as always, on the email, theflexzone1@gmail.com. And that's pretty much all we got. Dre, executive producer, senior producer, Cravante Bebe, the birthday boy, celebrating Leo season. Big Raj on social media, as always, and yours truly, God's favorite host. I'll be here all week. We'll get those videos out to you, and as mentioned, we got Ravens content coming up soon. We'll be live for that first game on that Thursday night, as we'll have a post-game show starting on September 5th, as we have football on Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and all out that Saturday. So it's only going to get more busier as we head into the weeks and months to come. But we appreciate you guys here on the Flex Zone podcast tuning in. It's the only place to give you sports how you want it,
when you need it.
Once again, For Nitro, for Dre, for Cravante, for Raj, God's favorite host. Thank you everybody in the chat, all the new subscribers. Big Reg, I see you. Don C. and Graven was in the building. Miss Queen, everyone else in between. Appreciate you as well. We had God's Child in here. We had Black Coca TV. So thank you everybody for staying up late with us. We're putting the kids to bed. And we hope we started your work week off the only way we know how. The Flex Zone Podcast. Good night, everybody. We'll see you Wednesday for Dynamite. All the other videos on the channel will have the clips up of this episode and much more. And stay tuned to the Flex Zone Podcast. We'll see you throughout the rest of the week. Peace. Good night, everybody.
Acknowledge me. Whose house? Whose